Whenever you are.
Good afternoon. Today is Monday, April 28th, 2025. It is 3:05 p.m. We're here for the regular trustee meeting. If you can please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have an agenda for us. Are there any changes or additions? If not, do we have a motion to approve as presented?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes. Do we have a motion to excuse Mrs. Dean from today's meeting?
I make a motion to excuse Mrs. Dean for this scheduled meeting.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes. It's all you today, Ms. Wallace.
I make a motion to
Sorry.
accept the general ledger report in the amount of $351,943.90 for the 4/16/2025 payroll.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the payment listing reports in the amount of $416,666.65 for warrants through 4/23/2025.
Second, but with corrections of 461, not 416. Correct? Which one's correct
which-
here?
The report in front of you.
Yeah, here.
Is the packet correct or is the printout correct? Because the agenda says 461.
461,666.65.
65,
Okay.
okay, so that's incorrect.
Okay, so just a correction of 461,666.65. You can call?
Yeah, Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes. And we have meeting minutes from the April 14th, 2025 regular trustee meeting. Are there any changes or additions? If not, do we have a motion to approve as presented?
I move to adopt the minutes for the April 14th, 2025 regular trustee meeting as presented.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes. And at this time, we open the podium up to any citizens desiring to speak. If you'd like to speak, come on up and give us your name and an address and have at it.
Ben Guthrie, 281 Locust Court, Beavercreek. I'm here on behalf of the Beavercreek Soccer Association. Appreciate being able to speak with you. As we have for the last over 30 years, I think 33 or 34 years, we're hosting the Creek Classic Soccer Tournament, which is the weekend after Memorial Day, May 30th and June 1st this year. We're requesting a waiver of our tent permit fees for setting up our tents at the complex, which is in the township area off of Orchard Lane. Additionally, the last several years, we also have an ambulance that is parked on site there, and I think there's a fee maybe associated with that. So requesting a waiver of that fee as well. So this tournament, again, it's been over 30 years. It's going to be one of our larger ones that we've had over the last 10 to 15 years. So we're excited about that. We'll have over 200 and we'll have close to 300 teams.
Wow,
two
that's
from
great.
Canada, and then also pulling from Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio.
Great, thank you. Ms. Frick, is there any reason why that we could not do a multi-year waiver?
No, I don't see why you couldn't.
Okay, and so just from a housekeeping standpoint, it might help your organization as far as if it was a 4 or 5 year term. I don't know, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
We appreciate that.
It's been done every year.
Yeah, so we do two major tournaments. So we do one toward the end of October.
Which is your,
Fall,
So,
yeah.
Haunted Classic. So
Classic.
if the waiver was for both tournaments. that'd be
Yeah. So I don't have any issue with that, so unless the smallest does. So, okay, so you need a motion? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So entertain a motion to waive the tent and EMS fees for the BSA organization, I guess we'll call it that rather than Celtic if you have a name change, related to the Creek Classic and the Haunted Classic each year, beginning this year, commencing this seat this year, and extending for 5 years.
So moved.
Second,
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
yes.
What you'll have to do, though, is make sure you have that in your records so that in 5 years, you're going to have to come back.
Remember. Yep, yeah.
Okay.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hope your teams win.
Yeah. Still required. Still required a permit, just got.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
The fee's zero, the fine's heavy. Okay. All right. And Mr. Earhart, no old business, and so new business.
All right, thank you, Board. It's a combination of new and old. At the last Board of Trustees meeting, we got the joining the COG, the Coalition of Governments for Right Path. At that time, I think fiscal officer advised us that we would need to do the CUP this time, which is the Compatibility Use Plan. Military loves acronyms, so that's what before you this evening. We do have. You want to go through it?
Yeah, that's fine.
So we do have a very short PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, this just kind of summarizes the very large document. City of Beavercreek also, the administrative assistant for the city manager did that very nice spreadsheet for the COG that lists the priorities. Some of the low-hanging fruit, if you will, some of the stuff we can, and other high priorities that are gonna. You can see there who's the members and the association members. I think I failed to mention last time it was City of Dayton, so really it's anybody who is contiguous with the Air Force Base, and then the associate membership you see listed there. Greene County is going to be a full member now. They were listed as an associate. So obviously the purpose is to protect the military operations in regards to encroachment, so that we protect certain areas near and around the base to allow for additional missions to come. As I mentioned at the last trustee meeting, more missions that come here, jobs inside the fence, and then obviously that has a direct coalition and relationship to jobs outside the fence to supporting the missions inside the fence. So this is not unique. The largest one is in San Antonio, Texas, where coalition of governments were formed to support military base operations. And there's other ones throughout. They're probably the largest. Key focus areas is obviously the land use plan, transportation and infrastructure all around the base. That is some discussion on inside the fence and also mostly outside of the fence. There are 3 projects listed as priorities in the CUP. One for City of Beavercreek that has a relationship with the Beavercreek Township, and that is the Grange Hall and 675 interchange, where they're currently studying to add additional on and off ramps at the Grange Hall exit. So Beavercreek, with support of the rest of the COG members, were able to get that as a listed priority. That obviously affects Beavercreek Township as well. As you travel up further up National Road, you go in and out of Beavercreek Township, Bath Township, and the city of Fairborn. And then environmental safety considerations, obviously noise and aerospace, economic development. That is essentially what one of the main priorities of the COG is to continue to maintain what we have out at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but also be prepared and put us in positions for additional missions to come out here. And one of the things that they've looked at is actual additional flight missions. Obviously, we have a reserve unit, the 88th Air Wing, out at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and where they want to be in a position to have other flight missions here in the Dayton area. And then, of course, community engagement, so that there is a relationship within inside and outside the fence, and we're all communicating and talking about priorities. This next several slides is the essential spreadsheet that the city of Beavercreek staff put together, which was wonderful. It was easier to explain. And it's, we talk about timeframes, high priorities, and then it actually gives a list into the plan itself of where that's identified. So, can answer any questions I have. You have, I should say.
No, but I'm glad that you've represented us really, really well and that they finally found a need that we need to be a member of this group. So thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I've given a lot of information to our community development and risk director so that, you know, the last meeting was canceled, so the next meeting will be in a couple weeks, actually.
Yeah, and I'm on the mailing list.
Yeah.
Right.
So the regular meetings, they're open to the public. We are, the COG is a council of government, so we follow the same rules as every local entity and public, open to the public. We do go in an executive session, obviously, to talk about some things that are related to the base itself. So
Okay,
there's a resolution in front of you.
perfect. Ms. Wallace, when you're ready.
You can pass it as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution number 202-50428-admin-E, accepting the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base compatibility use plan in good faith and endorsing the implementation strategies as identified in the plan.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
On an unrelated note to the Wright Pat situation and developing things going on over there, I believe you're all aware of some private development that's happening kind of on Wright Pat land, moving the fence, an area that was in Beavercreek Township that's not inside the fence on the southern end of that. I did get contacted by the developer, and they're gonna work on a lot split first and keep it the same zoning classification as agricultural, and then later on come back and address the rezoning of that.
Oh, okay, thank
So
you,
that's working its way through. I spoke to them last week.
thank you.
Next, we're moving on to support it. We have a resolution this evening to support the city of Beavercreek in applying for their community development block grant, or I should say, it's for the senior center. We did go meet with the CDBG folks at the county, and we only have to provide one grant application. We don't have to do it as both entities doing it. There was some talk at one point in time that we were going to do it, but since the city manages those funds for the senior center, it was decided that they would take the lead, but we would support a resolution supporting that, or adopt a resolution supporting that. So that's what you have in front of you this evening.
Great. I have no questions about it.
Go for it.
I'd like to make a motion for resolution number 202-50428-admin-E, supporting the city of Bear Creek in applying for Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, funding for improvements to the Beaver Creek Senior Center.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kretz?
Yes.
As long as we're talking about joint projects, the next one would be, I've been working with Colin Carville over at the city, he's their city planner, on our age-friendly survey. We believe we've selected a very good company, Management Resources, to do that survey for us. And this would commit for our portion of that survey. The funds would be taken care of and paid, or the bill, the invoice would be billed to the city, and then we would reimburse them with our grant funds. So that's in front of you this evening. One of the concerns was that from both jurisdictions was that the board and the council would be able to review those questions prior to them going out. That was assured to us by this management resource company that anything that goes out, whether it's questions, whether it's information, has to have approval from the boards. So that was a big question. These guys have done that sort of survey before, and so we're excited to get started with that.
And you did interview them and
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We interviewed three ones. One was out of Indiana. They weren't used to doing these kind of surveys. They were used to doing more corporate surveys. The third one was out of South Carolina, and they just were really able to give us a local component that we were looking for. These guys are willing to send down representatives for survey times and public meetings and public input. They're very good.
I just want to make sure that you had an equal say in everything.
Oh, absolutely,
Because
yes.
we have equal
Yeah,
participation,
we've done
so,
all the things jointly together.
okay, great.
I'm fine.
I make a motion for resolution number 202-50428-admin-G, authorizing the township staff to proceed with the age-friendly community survey utilizing management resources from POW, Ohio. In addition, this project shall utilize Dayton Foundation grant funds, and the board authorizes the township administrator to sign any agreements related to this project.
Second.
Ms. Walls?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes.
Thank you, board. Next, we'll move on to our different departments. I'm sorry, I almost called him Sheriff Kessel. That would have been a big promotion. Sergeant Kessel was not able to be here this evening, but he did send a deputy if we have any questions for him this evening.
Mr. Earhart, did you pull, or is that going to be later on, or, there you go, never mind. Go ahead, sorry. I see it on the agenda. There was a resolution that
Yeah,
was in the
another
packet.
resolution.
Yeah,
I have it under the
that's
CDNR.
fine, that's fine.
Okay. Human Resources had nothing. Here's the resolution that you're talking about under the CDNR section, which is basically there was a grant that opened up through the state to allow for us for some zoning code revitalization, basically.
Yep.
Give you full disclosure, we were able to proceed with this grant based on a signed letter from the trustee president, which I got signed last week, and it's a good thing because as of today, they closed all applications for that grant funding. So if we wouldn't have done that and waited till today, we wouldn't be in the process for that grant funding. So the agreement was that we would get a letter of commitment from the board president and then follow up with a resolution later, which is what you have in front of you this evening.
Can you explain a little bit more about
Sure.
what the zoning code modernization is going to be?
Sure. What we're going to do with this is Regional Planning from Greene County has offered to be one of the consultants for this. So we'll be able to consult with Greene County Regional Planning Commission to update our zoning resolution. Last time we really did a big update was 96 and then again in 2022, I think, 2022. And that was just some updates as far as the code goes. This would be a full look at the code to make sure that we're up to date with everything. We really need some work on our definitions of the code. We really need some work a little later on in our general provisions, accessory uses and that sort of thing. I've already spoken with Deandra about what our needs are, and she says it fits right in the wheelhouse of what this is for.
Yeah, so how this came about, so in executive committee a couple weeks ago, so this came up that there was a 1 to 2 week window period of when this could essentially applications to be accepted, and it's the concept is to utilize regional planning as a contractor to do the work for us, like Mr. Earhart said. Is $50,000 blocks that you could apply for up to, but they had a finite amount of money and they had to burn it very quickly. So that resulted in a reach out immediately to Mr. Earhart, who then in turn reached out to Ms. Navratil and then put together an ask. So, but there, as of last Tuesday evening, there were only a couple other applications that had made their way in. And the provisions of the grant did a lot for, essentially, if you couldn't get, because townships were complaining they couldn't get to a regular scheduled meeting in time, and so they did allow kind of a then and now concept of you sign a letter, and then you pass a resolution. But they're $50,000 up to $50,000. So
we only applied for what the cost estimate from RPCC was, which was around a little less than 15,000, 13 something.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was opened on the 22nd, and as of today, I got an email this morning that said, actually I got an email Friday that said it's closed.
Yeah.
So it was only open for a few days.
Well, you have to jump on it. Yeah.
So we jumped. We'll
Yeah,
see what we get.
it's a first come, first serve. 2 million was the max.
Correct.
yeah.
Will Greene County be involved in their code updates too? you know?
That I do not know.
They could be, they'd have to go, obviously, through regional planning. So regional planning was gonna submit an application, I believe, of their own. What we did is at executive committee and then again at the full commission, which would have been in my update, but I'll say it now, is that we authorized, based on how many of these are awarded to jurisdictions within Greene County, to be able to, for Deandra to bring on a part-time person to help flex, to be able to handle this additional scope of work, so.
And from a township standpoint, this was something we were starting the process already, but some additional help from the county will help, or from regional planning will help speed that along.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks for jumping on it.
So I will make a motion for resolution number 202-50428-CDR-A, authorizing township staff to proceed with a grant application to the Housing Technical Assistance Program, seeking funding from the Zoning Code Modernization Program, and to utilize Greene County Regional Planning and Coordinating Commission as a consultant.
Ms. Frick, do we need to do anything as far as make this retroactive?
No, I don't think so, since there hasn't actually been
Okay.
any action taken on this yet.
Okay, second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes. Thank you. Okay.
All right, Lord, thank you. Moving on, information technology has no reports and they are not present this morning. Finance department, Terry had an appointment, so she could not be here this evening. Public service has no report. I will report that they are working on their remodel, and it's coming along well. They're hoping to be in the next few days over there with their furniture and everything. I think they said
Great.
it comes Wednesday. So that's moving right along. And then the next thing we have is the fire department making acceptance of a resignation.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
Sorry to spoil the steady stream of the agenda today, but yeah, we do have one resignation we'd like the Board to accept. This is for Chris Gilson, and he is eligible for rehire.
And when did Mr. Gilson join us?
I believe 2017,
Okay.
So he's been here for a while.
yeah, about 8 years, yes. We have exit interviews planned. I've got mine scheduled next week. I'm not sure what Ms. Sink is meeting with.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of
Sorry, I'm moving around again.
resignation number 202-50428-Fire-A, firefighter Chris Gilson, effective May 8th, 2025. Chris Gilson is eligible for reemployment with Beavercreek Township.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. That's all we have for you this afternoon. Well, until 4:30.
Is he staying in the fire service or is he?
Yes, my understanding is, I have heard third hand, he is moving to the district.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Frick,
Nothing today.
Mr. Zahariev,
Nothing, thank you.
MVRPC, I did not get any update unless you did. Okay. TAC, was there any update?
We'll have a meeting next month. I
Okay.
reported last time.
Opioid Regional Task Force,
I have documentation that I'll give to for our minutes that shows the breakout of the meeting we had last year, giving for Region 14, $5.02 million to 18 organizations. It shows the approved use of funding for people here in Beavercreek Township and the different organizations that received the funding and how much. We do have an extra $2 million that we did not give out, that we rolled over into 2025. My concern and push at the meeting last week was that the $2 million that we do have in reserve for next year, the state is receiving interest on that money. And I asked, and they're going to find out if the Region 14 could get the interest off that money. and we put towards the $2 million that we have. Since most other organizations gave up their entire pot of money, and since we kept it aside because we were waiting for other organizations to kind of put their programs together in a better format or not ask as much, I felt that we should receive the interest off the money. And so we'll see what happens. It's doubtful, but I felt that I had to have on the record that we should have the ask. So that's what happened at our last meeting.
On the lines of the opioid monies and things, I forgot to mention under the sheriff's office report, I did come up on Saturday and join Sergeant Kessel with the DEA drug take-back program. I was up there for about an hour of the time that he was up there, and it was fairly well attended. I think about 10 people came the time that I was there. Everybody was pleasant and worked well, and we hosted it here locally for the first time. So I'm sure that we'll have some feedback from Sergeant Kessel of how it went and total numbers. But I
Great.
did want to tell you that it went well, and it seemed easy for them.
Good, thank you.
Sorry.
You're fine. Regional planning, the grant, essentially, we talked about previously. There were 3 items on the agenda, 2 of which were Nathaniel's Grove, Section 8, and the other was Section 13. Both were approved. And then the zoning text amendment related to public notice and wiping the reference to newspapers, publications from that requirement. So Mr. Earhart also shared to the group that there were a number of other updates based on, that wasn't the only update in that section of the Ohio Revised Code relative to townships. So Mr. Earhart, what section again was that?
Well, the House Bill is 519.
For House Bill, I'm sorry, yeah.
519, right?
Yep.
Or am I getting that confused? 519 is the sections. The House Bill basically addresses several sections. It's pretty much an omnibus change for the Ohio Revised Code. There's several sections in which it applies to. Some of those things can be like the legal advertising requirement for our budgets.
Right.
Things like that. So it's not just zoning. We're having to specifically bring that for RPCC due to the fact that it's in our zoning code. And to bring it in line with the ORC, we have to do it. But there's a lot of things the township can benefit by.
Ms. Frick, can you, for the benefit of the trustees and the fiscal officer and even department heads, can you provide, or does the state provide, I'll call it, for lack of a better term, like in software world, you'd call it release notes, but essentially update notes or footnotes as far as what's changed and just so we can have that.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, they'll do a handbook update based on the law changes.
That's what I thought they
So
would, but I don't know
potentially-
how long it'll take them for that.
And it just took effect on April 3rd.
Somewhere I'd assume there's a publication that says, here's what changed, and if we can just circulate
There's the
that,
full version, but we need a Cliff Note version.
Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
a quick look.
that'd be
That'd be
great.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
There are some things that are in the House budget bill that may change some of the things that already passed. One doesn't affect us, but like the body cam, charging cost, that was passed by the legislature, now it's in the budget bill.
Yeah, that increased significantly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now they're talking about getting rid of it. So there's some things that are in the budget bill that they're kind of, I'm sure, waiting on to
Yeah.
print any updates.
Okay, great, thank you. Health Department, I don't think there was any update to provide. School Superintendent, City Manager, Administrator,
I have
anything there?
not met with them.
Okay. We might not want to lose sight of that, so those are valuable. So maybe for May, it might be something to get on the schedule. Just,
I shall definitely touch base.
yeah, not knowing what the future holds. So as far as Wright Pat Air Force Base Restoration Advisory Board,
We're supposed to have a meeting in May. They now pushed it to June.
okay,
So there'll be a public hearing at the meeting room at Twins Golf Course there.
okay. Mr. Earhart, did you have anything on Greene County water, wastewater? I had not received anything from Ms. Dean, so.
I have not
Okay.
received anything either.
Greene County Township Association. I attended the meeting. I thought I shared that at the previous meeting, but otherwise I had nothing to add. Investment Oversight Committee, no report. Greene County 911 Advisory Committee. no report at this time.
I do have a question, and that is what was happening with that as far as Chief Easter. I got hit by 2 commissioners regarding that issue.
Yep, so what came, essentially, Mr. Huddleston called me and asked essentially to look into comments that were made to him as far as non-responsiveness from the township, specifically Chief Heister. I essentially addressed those to Mr. Earhart. Mr. Earhart met with Mr. Heister. Mr. Earhart met with Chief. And then it was determined that there was an issue and that there was a lack of response and responsiveness. So Mr. Brandt at the state had informed Mr. Huddleston that calls and emails were going unanswered since January. And so that failure to respond was attributed, to my understanding, Mr. Heister attributed that to a shift in workload. And that occurred sometime in November when there was a shuffle at the chief level and position level. And so so I expressed frustration that that had not come up during all of the trustee meetings since January or at the 911 committee meetings. And so Mr. Earhart went back to Chief Heister, went back to Chief Vandenboss, and connected them with the individual of the state, Mr. Brandt. And as of as of last week, I think Chief Vandenboss sent an email saying, I think it was last Monday or Tuesday, that the state was caught up. And I relayed that to Mr. Huddleston. And then from that point forward, Brandon had not commented that that there were any commissioners and no commissioner has brought it up to me, but what I did commit to Mr. Huddleston is that we would do a post-incident, essentially report to determine what happened, why it happened, and how it won't happen again.
I've still been in the process of following up and getting some questions answered.
Yeah.
So I just got another question answered today.
Yeah, I'm presuming that there's more than one answer, but at the end of the day, so going forward, Chief Heister is still recognized as a subject matter expert, but if workload is going to preclude timeliness of response, then we need to look at the potential of reassigning that. It's very valuable to the township to have that seat at the table. To get that call as a trustee or as the chair of the board, it was, I would say, rather embarrassing.
Well, I was in a car with both commissioners on the way to the opioid task force on Tuesday, and I got hit by both of them that I was reminded that they pay for that service, and they were not happy with having to pay for a service that was not being done. So I was kind of blindsided by that, not knowing or having not heard of any problems that was going on.
Well, contrary to the commissioners, I observe sunshine laws, and the commissioners should not have been talking about that in a car together.
They talked it to me,
I understand.
so.
Just one point of clarification, and we are working through the issues because we were all blindsided equally on that. The one clarification though is they don't pay for anything that is not done. So they were not billed for any hours that work was not performed.
Okay.
And then the billing that would happen, matter of fact, to the other side of the argument, Chief Heister mentioned that he's been putting in time that he has not been tracking to be billed. So we need to be billing for the time that he is doing because we need to know the full picture
That's
of
true.
what that workload is. But yeah, if they have a misunderstanding that they've paid for something that they haven't gotten, that's a mistake. They have not paid for anything that was not done.
We need to just clear that up.
I think that should just include that in the post-incident report, and then that way, and then provide evidence of that, and then that's in black and white, and no one can they can choose to dispute it, but then we can refute it. So, but otherwise, there's no value in essentially making a phone call to say it, just illustrate it. So here's the billing, this is time that was done, this is, you weren't billed for anything that, it's not a blanket PO where they pay the same amount, technically, they may pay it if that's what we bill them, but if we're under billing or not billing the full amount, or not billing for something we didn't do, then they're not overpaying. So, but just illustrated in a post, because it did commit to that, and I'd like to see that go to the county by the end of the month if we can, or I'm sorry, let's say by the next meeting, if we have all the answers. I know you were still trying to piece things together, so, but it shouldn't take 4 weeks to figure out what failed over the last 12 weeks.
Chief Easter's at a conference this week. When he's back next week, that is our
Sure.
first topic.
Yeah. And then just from an assignment of duties, like again, it's the very basics is what I promised to Brandon, which was what happened, why it happened, and how it won't happen again. So, and if,
Some of the delay in the after action report has been time off or scheduled training.
Yep.
So we're working through that.
I
Thank you.
understand.
But not since January, so there are systemic things that we will address.
Yeah,
Not since January, but from the time we found out about it.
correct. Yeah, which was, days ago. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recess till 4:30?
yeah, unless there's anything else to come before us from anybody else. Ms. Sink, did you have anything that you?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. This time, yep, we'll take a recess until 4:30 PM for a special event.
We'll put on our fancy clothes.
All right, great. Yeah, so one other thing, so to be clear, that the zoning case, essentially, is it for 842 and 843?
Just 42.
Just 42, so
So we're doing
843 is still
43.
on. 842
43
is,
we can still do.
is canceled, okay. Yep, great, thank you.
That's what I thought.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay.
Good afternoon. It is 4:30 PM, and we are going to resume our meeting. And we have some important business to take care of now. Chief, we'll turn it over to you when you're ready.
Okay.
It's all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Board, for making some extra time this afternoon for us. Otherwise, very busy day. But this is one of those really important times, so we appreciate you allowing us to come together and celebrating with you. And this afternoon, it is my honor to recommend for promotion to the position of Assistant Chief, a member who demonstrates the knowledge, skills that exemplify the professionalism and pride of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department and our commitment to the citizens of Beavercreek. The position of Assistant Chief is critical in setting the strategic goals for the Beavercreek Township Fire Department, ensuring the fire department is prepared and capable of meeting the current and future needs of the community. The Assistant Chief works directly with the Fire Chief, identifying and defining the direction of the fire department. And they are also a critical link in communicating the goals and priorities of the organization to both the organization and the community that we serve. Christine Hawker began her professional journey as a K-8 teacher at Immaculate Conception School after earning her Bachelor of Science in Education from Wright State University. After a decade in the classroom, she sought a new challenge and transitioned to a career in firefighting by joining the Washington Township Fire Department as a volunteer firefighter. Then she made a better choice. During her 3 years of service, she completed the required training at Sinclair Community College, graduating at the top of her class. In 2002, July, Christine joined the Beavercreek Township Fire Department as a part-time firefighter and EMT. Her dedication and professionalism led to her being hired as a full-time firefighter-paramedic in 2005. Committed to professional growth, she completed fire officer levels 1 through 4, which laid the foundation for her promotion to lieutenant in 2010. In 2015, she graduated from the Ohio Fire Executive Program, a demanding 2.5-year leadership development course offered by the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association. This milestone reflects her ongoing pursuit of operational excellence, strategic vision, and executive readiness. Her continued leadership and professional development assisted her in promotion to captain in 2017 and division chief in 2020. Beyond her frontline service, Christine has played a key leadership role in numerous department programs. Her contributions include This is a long list. EMS proctor, CERT instructor, peer fitness trainer, infection control program lead, safety committee, health and wellness committee, CAD build and install, dispatch, and Pro QA, CAD run card development, ISO grading process, the GIS hydrant project, street directory, insurance committee, SOP manual, interoperability program, resource manual, uniform committee, Class A inspections, honors committee, honor guard, Explorer program manager, auxiliary liaison, EMS bike team, the Fairborn Joint Station Project, assistant accreditation manager, and now accreditation manager, strategic plan goal champion, and SIPSI peer reviewer and SIPSI peer assessor. In addition to that, she's been recognized with multiple honors, including letters of commendation for outstanding attitude and positive accomplishment, for SOP manual development and assisting interoperability program, for excellence in patient care, for completion of her fire officer 1 through 4, for developing and managing the BTFD program. She's been awarded the Purple Heart. She's been awarded the Meritorious Service Award for developing the BTFD Boot Camp and Health and Wellness program. Firefighter of the Year and Township Trustees Employee of the Year in 2005. She's been credentialed by the Ohio Fire Chief Credentialing in 2018, 2021, and 2024, as well as by SIPSI in 2021 and 2024. In addition to that, she's got multiple commendations for participation in the ISO grading process, cardiac arrest saves, platoon contributions to fire, and EMS incidents. Christine remains committed to her mission of service and leadership, and she looks forward to embracing new challenges, making a meaningful impact within the organization, and continuing to serve her community with passion and integrity. She currently resides in Spring Valley with her wife Deb and their golden doodle Dawson. She credits her success to her current and past members of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department, her mentors, and the unwavering love and support of her family and friends who continue to inspire her dedication to excellence in public service. This afternoon, it is my pleasure to recommend to the Board of Trustees that Division Chief Christine Hawker be promoted to the position of Assistant Chief.
Perfect. Want to come forward? Want to come over here?
Wherever you want.
You want the flag? Come right here in the middle. Thank you for everybody who came out today. So this is a pretty awesome occasion to someone who I think the board unanimously agrees deserves this, has earned it, and the full room essentially is a testament to your peers that believe in you as well. So if you want to repeat after me, raise your right hand, please. I hereby certify that on this day, we are going to swear in Christine Hawker to the position of Assistant Chief to Beavercreek Township Fire Department, and this appointment will take effect immediately, April 28th, 2025. I, Christine Hawker,
I, Christine Hawker,
being duly sworn,
say
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Assistant Chief
and will faithfully discharge the duties of Assistant Chief
of the Beavercreek Township Fire Department,
for the Beavercreek Township Fire Department,
Greene County, Ohio.
Greene County, Ohio.
Congratulations.
No, don't tell me that. Maybe put together some nice backdrops, so we're gonna use the backdrops. If I could have Deb, Jerry, and Weston come up, please.
So this is my wife Deb, my brother Jerry, and my nephews Will and Wes.
And with the sign.
Thank you
you.
everyone for being here. Congratulations.
Assistant Chief Hawker, would you like to address the room?
You want to do it?
As I said, I appreciate everybody's support for being here. This is a tremendous honor for me. It's been a long journey that I take great pride in. Everyone in this room means so much to me for your love and support through it all, especially my family and my friends. Two special members that came today from my OFE class. Just amazing support from everywhere. This is a very special honor to me, which is why I'm emotional. It's just who I am, and it's part of my journey that I'm very proud of. I thank the chief, the trustees for giving me this opportunity. I'm gonna make some good moves, some big changes, all positive. I wanna keep pushing our organization in a positive manner, purposeful and professionally. That's always been my motto, also with integrity. And I just look forward to this journey and this opportunity to continue to learn from Chief Vanderboss and all the members, current and past members of our organization. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Just very quickly, like to thank our auxiliary for everything that you do as far as to assist with these events, assist our firefighters, assist our township, assist our residents, our businesses. To our retirees, even the ones that have grown a goatee since they left. Chief Merckx. But to our retirees, thank you for continuing to blaze the path for everyone to follow, especially for Chief Hawker, and the support that you've afforded her and that the guidance and leadership you continue to show for the township and the mentorship that you show for our young people. So it's appreciated, it's recognized. But thank you to all of you, and congratulations. And
I'd like to also, so happy for Chief Hawker and her family for this great honor. And I'd like to also welcome Mayor Adams for supporting us from the city of Beavercreek being here. And all those that have been retired and showing up here and the active duty people here. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the Assistant Chief. We appreciate it, and I think she'll be great in her role. Thank you.
thank you. Mayor Adams, did you have any words you wanted to say?
I've known Christine for quite a while before the event, and it was a real honor for me to be here. I'm really happy that I can be a part of this, and let you get promoted, because I know you're going to do
Thank you.
And last, I'd like to thank the board for allowing us to promote from within. That's long been a goal of mine, and the fact that you continue to support us with that is excellent. You have a lot of great officers, you have a lot of great officers candidates for the positions that have come open and are continuing to open up, and so we appreciate the opportunity to continue to develop and promote from within. I think that's a strong indication of the quality of folks that you've hired and allowed us to train over the years, so thank you.
Yeah, I think, Chief, there was no other option. We had an extraordinary pool of candidates, and there was no better choice. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before the board today?
Just wait till 5 o'clock.
Recess till
Then let's eat cake.
We'll take a recess until 5 p.m. Zoom our meeting at 5:01 p.m. And we've got do we have something to read into the record as far as the zoning case or not?
Well, we had two cases on your agenda for this evening. I would ask that you would amend your agenda to only include case 843. Case 842 is a map amendment for Dayton Xenia Road, and due to the fact that we only have 2 trustees present this evening, and one of them may have an issue with a conflict of interest,
Sure.
we'd like to amend that agenda to only be case 843, and direct staff to set up a special meeting at the board's convenience to hear the other case.
Okay, and we'll need, obviously, Ms. Wallace and Ms. Dean at that case.
Correct.
I cannot be on that one. Okay.
You have the public hearing in here.
Do you want to make that motion, Ms. Wallace?
I'll make a motion to hear case number 843.
And so the motion, I'm sorry, would be to amend the agenda to remove case 842.
Correct.
And only hear case 843 this evening.
I'll make a motion to remove case number 842 and hear only case 843 at this meeting today on April 28th, 2025
Second,
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
yes. Okay,
And I would just read the
And
public
here's your-
hearing,
Public
Just-
hearing notice for 843.
just read 843.
yep, both Beavercreek Township trustees will meet to consider the application from Avail Acoustics and Drywall for a specific site plan for 828 Space Drive, parcel B 0300020033 0003400, located on the north side of Space Drive, approximately 450 feet west of the intersection of Space Drive and Distribution Drive. The property is in PUD IC zoning district. And this notice was prepared and processed for publication by Community Development Director Andy Earhart in accordance with state requirements. The application documents were on display, essentially the zoning offices, 851 Orchard Lane, and we will proceed from there.
Thank you, board. Let me get down to the correct case, since we're on to 843. The applicant submitted a specific site plan for approval for 828 Space Drive. The applicant wishes to construct an approximately 3,750 square foot addition and additional parking areas slash spaces. There are 2 existing buildings on the property. One is approximately 8,000 square feet and the other is approximately 6,048 square feet according to the county records. The property is zoned PUD-IC and conforms with the uses allowable within the district. A little bit of history. The current buildings on the site were constructed in 2001 and 2006, both under the previous IPUD zoning. In September of 2022, a rezoning was finalized that changed the zoning classification from IPUD, to PUD-IC. That was case number 831. The case in 2022 stated that existing parcels and land uses developed prior to the rezoning shall be conforming. So there's no doubt that this was a conforming piece of property. Therefore, the existing buildings are considered conforming and approved. And there's the language that came from that case. Here's the aerial view of the property. The two existing buildings, the addition is slated for right here. You'll see that coming up. The zoning district, here it is the PUDIC, which is industrial commercial. And here is the site plan. Let me make that a little bigger. Showing that existing building to the east and to the addition to the northwest of that. And then the parking area, it would actually have a entrance going out onto Beavercreek Drive. Site photos, here's that existing building. Back here where this truck is in the rear would be where where the proposed addition is going to go. This is the look from Beaver Park. So the addition would come out right here and the parking would extend out from there. Site photo of the building to the west. So some findings and conditions. The project in question does require specific site plan approval, as per that case, I think it was 832. The addition is for 3,750 square feet warehouse with 8 parking spaces and a proposed entrance onto Beaver Park. The surrounding land uses are all PUDIC, and parking meets the requirement of the Beavercreek Township zoning resolution, except as noted below, and I'll get to that shortly. There's no additional landscaping or screening needed because all of the surrounding uses are the PUDIC. And the architectural match the existing building. Here's where all the different things came out, specific site plans. These are requirements from case 831, and my staff comments are notated here in red. The yard requirements meet with the exception of the proposed parking area. From the right-of-way line, a 10-foot landscape strip is required to be maintained with grass and plantings. On the plan, it shows approximately 3 feet. It can be reduced during this process. However, staff does recommend that that requirement be met. I'm going to jump back to the site plan real quick to show you that area that I'm talking about. That's right here. So that distance, you can see the other one meets it from the other parking area. Just this one's a little shy. Get back down here.
So the recommendation was to accept that or to modify
Was to
that?
modify it to the 10 feet. And that would match the other one. That's basically the biggest reason for the staff comment. That way they'd be consistent. Signage does meet all the requirements and there's no additional signs that have been requested with this plan. The other parking issue is that our parking section of our resolution requires that the parking spaces be 9 feet in width but 20 feet in length. The plan does show 9 feet but only 18 feet in length. So staff recommends that the parking spaces be lengthened to the 20 feet to meet the requirement. The drive aisle does meet that requirement of 25 feet and it's shown on the plan at 26. All other things where screening and buffering do not apply. The other one, that's a big one, is final construction and engineering drawings must be submitted to Greene County Engineer for stormwater review. That whole place has been some problems with stormwater and we just need to make sure it's reviewed and approved. All the conditions are met for the PUDIC and final plans must conform to all requirements of zoning code. Beavercreek Township Zoning Commission recommended approval unanimously with subject to my staff comments.
Okay.
And that is what I have for you.
Can you go back to the current aerial,
Yes, sir.
like GIS aerial?
There you go.
Okay. And so the drive does not pass through, okay. For some reason, I thought that driveway passed through. And then is this, and not that it matters now and it matters in the future, but is this intended for a separate tenant or an addition for the existing tenant? And that,
The existing tenant, it's basically storage.
okay, they just outgrown their space. Okay. But they need additional parking, or rather than, there's no overhead door on the back of that building?
It's not necessary, but he'd like it. See, he's on 828, the back of that building's occupied by Mosquito Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're expanding, and I'm trying to keep them there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
So are, on the, with existing, you're not losing any parking spaces. You're just adding
We're just adding
8.
8 parking spaces.
But with the staff recommendation, you're going to lose some then, correct? If you're gonna make it to 10-foot?
They would lose those outer 2 parking spaces.
Yeah,
along
so it'll
with
be
the
only,
park.
it'll be 6 that they'll be adding.
Correct.
Was
That's
it,
not an issue.
Okay,
And they can shift, to make the 18-foot, they can shift that a little bit, this line here a little farther to the west and still make the 18, or the requirement for length.
so we'll only be adding 6 parking spaces.
Yeah. And I would, because that use, that tenant use could change a little bit from warehouse to other uses, I think the additional parking spaces is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure that we meet those zoning requirements later on.
Are there any, there's no requirements here, I see that there's no handicap spaces.
There is no handicap spaces.
they may not be delineated here, but you'd be required by code to have,
Have some, yeah.
yeah.
Somewhere on the
Front two
property.
would have to
It's a
be-
square footage calculation.
Yeah, I'm big on that.
But the,
Well, if
and
they-
the code does address that.
Yeah, if they'll have a little extra space by doing away with those outer 2 spaces, they
Mm-hmm.
can convert those.
Out of curiosity, why wouldn't you just continue the driveway around and out that exit? Just cost or just to make it a pass-through? You could drive essentially through the property.
We've got, the one to the left is the only way that we could make it go straight through,
Right,
and,
because it's one parcel, correct?
yes.
But there's a little bit of topography that we talked about last time when we get down to that. So here's a drainage swale that kind of goes through this area that'll have to be looked at.
Yeah,
And
well, you're
This is
putting,
significantly higher over here than the other side.
right, but based on this drawing, you're putting the building essentially either on
In that,
or
yep.
in it, so you're gonna regrade or pipe that.
Right.
I've
got Mitch Kostler, he,
Sure,
he did everything on the first 2 buildings.
yeah,
He's already been there and looked, and he told me what I needed to do that would work.
yeah.
One thing that doesn't really show well between these pictures, and I'm sorry, I apologize for not having a picture, is that elevational change between this building and this building.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of terraced there,
Oh, okay.
so that could be one of the reasons that parking area would be raised up in comparison to this area.
Meaning the site being expanded is higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay. And then are there any catch basins in the parking lot now?
Yes.
And where are they located?
There's a catch basin right about here, isn't there?
We go the aerial?
There's one there, there's one, there's 2 catch basins, one in each driveway.
Trying to zoom in for us.
What Mitch had
Right
proposed.
there and right there.
Okay, so you just did a sheet drain of the driveway down to the catch basin?
He's wanting to put 2 catch basins in, one at the end of the building and one at where the driveway ends. And then we're gonna tie those into the front catch basin.
Are those gutters and downs tied into the catch
That's
basin?
all gonna be tied into the,
It will be. The new ones or the existing are?
the existing are, but we're gonna put new ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're gonna add a catch basin essentially at the south end of this addition, and then tie those gutters and downs into that, and then take it all to the, so there's no reason for, storm management other than you're just gonna sheet drain the parking lot north of the expansion to the curb, or where's that water gonna go?
We would just,
Sheet drain it out?
the way it's set up now, there's a swell that goes down and just out to the curb. And
Okay,
we're gonna modify it to where it'll go next to the driveway.
okay,
So
He's working on that.
he's working
Okay.
on the engineering part of it.
okay. Okay. Okay, can you go back to the conditions that were
I
added?
have them summarized within your resolution too. if you
Yeah.
go there.
I'm sorry, you went past too fast. Or if you got them summarized in there, it's fine. Yeah, if you can go back up to the red portion, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just want to see something. where you have the red line.
I'm trying to get up there.
No worries. And so you only lose one space, or you lose 1.5 spaces on each side, which would be, as far as parking space, to get that 10-foot landscape,
We would lose one on each side.
just one on each side, okay. And going to the 9x20 was not an issue? Okay,
They're already 9 wide, they have to meet the length requirement.
correct. Yeah, 18 is too short, because it narrows the aisle by 4 feet, which is difficult to back out if you need it. Okay. And there's no dock, there's no overhead doors, so there's no UPS truck or box truck hanging out into the road or anything like that? Okay,
There's a door, but
the service door,
yeah, well, no, there's a garage door on the back of the building.
On the
Yeah.
existing.
Yeah,
on the existing, correct,
But-
but that has its own drive.
But the new one's gonna have a garage door too. And the truck won't hang out into the street, they're gonna.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was questioning, if you were having any deliveries come through, if you wanted to have a truck be able to pass through rather than back out or back into your site. So, because if they pull into that new addition, no different than your existing, they either have to back out or they have to back in. As opposed to if it was a pass-through, then they could cut through. Now, you may not want that traffic, or the other tenant may not want that on the other side of
No, he would not.
the roofing guy, okay. 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 Do you want this as presented, or you want this read in?
Technically, you should open the meeting for public comments.
Okay.
For or against, and-
All right, at this time, we'll open the meeting for public comment. Seeing none, we'll close the meeting for public comment and talk amongst the board.
I don't have any other questions,
I don't either.
but I would like to have a handicap accessibility somewhere in that.
And I would just recommend that per the code, so the code is there for
I
that.
have final construction and engineering drawings must be submitted to Green County Engineer's Office. for
Building
stormwater,
departmental,
and
yeah.
The other comment, which was all final construction drawings meet the requirements of the code.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
I'll make a motion for resolution number 202-50428-ZC-A, a resolution to approve zoning case number 843, specific site plan approval for an addition to the existing building located at 828 Space Drive, parcel ID B030020033003400.
as presented, second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes. Congrats. Thanks for going through the process.
Thank you very
So,
much.
you build nice buildings back there. I said you build nice buildings back there.
The
So-
one that's across the street, we have the Chinese are in there, it's Aqua.
Sure.
We need to build another building just like that.
Nice. Good luck, yeah.
Uh,
Have a walkout basement?
What they got now, that building's 17,000 square feet.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Both floors combined, yeah, yeah. It's
That's a pretty nice
a lot of
size.
finished space.
They pay well.
Good,
We're just,
Happy to have them filled.
they've been there 10 years. Well, they were across the street in the other building.
well, if not for you, it'd be an empty park, so you keep building them, they keep filling them, so. Good job, thank you.
Well, with the money though.
Money's the easy part if you have a tenant.
Isn't that the truth?
If they would just let me know and I'll come.
Yeah, sure. And we'll still need to work through the rest of the plan stuff, but, yeah, so, we'll get you a letter or, sent out to you telling what the final disposition, I can't talk. tonight.
Disposition, yeah.
Disposition of this case is, sorry, I'm tongue-tied, but yeah,
Yeah, we'll just get it changed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really to it.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care. Have a good evening.
You don't have a lot to
Just tell Mitch to get a hold of me, he deals with me on enough stuff as it is, so.
I mean, he's already been there once. I mean, he was there after I talked to you the last time.
Yeah.
And I told him, well, my concern was whether or not I hired him.
Yes.
He said that's not a problem.
That's what Mitch says all the time. We'll get him squared away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Kratz?
Yes.